Alright folks, welcome back to the Roll and Grill. I am Eric. Hey, today we got a good one. Let me put my coffee down. Today we are doing baby back ribs. And these are Compart Duroc baby back ribs, a different breed of pork. Good stuff, full of a lot of fat. You can see, I mean, the striations of fat, and this is crazy. And we're also going to layer it up with some garlic aioli mustard. Good stuff. Pair it up with my QQ Dust rub. If you don't know about the QQ Dust, you better get in the know. Hands down, one of the best barbecue rubs out there. Shop.therollandgrill.com. So, y'all stay tuned right here on the Roll and Grill. Yeah, boy. Alright, folks, let's get started. Alright, what I've done, I've rinsed the baby backs down. Of course, you want to pat them dry. Alright, starting bone side up. Now, this is the rub I'm going to use. But before I do anything to any kind of meat, so that I don't just cake rub on, because caked up rub on ribs don't go together. I always hit it with some salt and a little bit of pepper first. Alright, because you don't want to cake your rub on. When you start caking your rub on, then that's when you start getting barks that are, you know, especially if you're wrapping, your barks will start to get real mushy and crappy and stuff like that. So you don't want to do that. All right, now that I've salt and pepper one side, I'm gonna just do all of it. Get it all out the way. Just a little salt and pepper, that's all. This rub, my QQ Dust has salt and pepper in it, but again, you don't want to cake rub on. Not on ribs. Brisket is different, but you definitely don't want to use a whole bottle of rub. You see some folks, they use a whole bottle of rub on a piece of rib, and you're not gonna get, that's just gonna end up in some bad tasting meat, especially if you wrap it. So now we're gonna come on with our garlic aioli mustard. Stuff smells real good. I think I got this at Publix grocery store. Now we're gonna use the mustard to rub in the salt and pepper into the meat. I'm gonna go ahead and knock both of them out. This stuff has a really strong garlic smell to it. Real good. Excellent on bratwurst and stuff like that. Alright, so let's go ahead and do both sides. Now you could of course not use mustard. You could just use, you know, Worcestershire sauce, or you could just use, you know, you could just use nothing. You could just rub it down with olive oil, or you could just rub it down with nothing. But this mustard has good flavor, so that's why I'm using it. Alright, now that I have the salt, some salt and pepper contacting the meat, now that I have the mustard rubbing the salt and pepper in, that's when I'm coming in with the rub. And that's when I'm coming in with the rub. And I'm not going to cake it. You don't want to cake it. You definitely don't want to cake rub on ribs. Alright, so flip it over. If you notice, I'm not rubbing it in. I'm just going to let this sit on the meat for about 45 minutes before I cook it. And let it draw a little bit of moisture. And then soak back into the meat. QQ Dust has a little bit of some good stuff in it. I ain't gonna give too much of it away, but it's excellent on barbecue. And that's it. No caking. So even if I wrap these, which I might, I'm not gonna have to worry about my rub caking up at all. And I'm real fond of this coconut sugar right now. So I'm even gonna throw a little coconut sugar on top, just to help with the color and to give a little bit of that smoky flavor. Coconut sugar has a nice little smoky flavor to it. Alright, not much, just a little bit. And that's the rib treatment. Simple process, don't overthink it. These are baby backs, full of fat, full of flavor. Just add a little something to them. Don't get crazy. Good ribs every time. So we're going to let these sit for about 45 minutes to an hour. Light the pit up. We'll be back in a minute. Yeah, boy. Alright, today we're going to be running cowboy lump charcoal on these ribs. Alright, along with the lump charcoal, we're also going to be throwing these onions on top of those hot coals. Now, we're not using, only thing we're using is lump charcoal and these onions. But what you want to do is throw a little bit of sea salt on these onions, probably about 30 minutes prior to putting them on the coals. Because we all know the salt draws out the moisture that'll help the onions stay in there longer so they don't just burn up fast. Just a little tip. Yeah, boy. Alright guys, just wanted to show you, I got the ribs on. This is a barrel cooker, so I got them on the second rack, not the bottom rack and not the top rack. And I'm also going to do some caramelized, some char grill caramelized onion jam as well. So y'all stay tuned, man. So hope y'all can see it. It's about to go down. Yeah, boy. Alright, we're running about 300 degrees on these baby backs and the onions. Just want to give you a quick update. This is, let's let the smoke pass. This is like 30 minutes in. Got a few hot dogs in there too. I don't even know if you can see it. They got a lot of kids out here. This is like 30 minutes in right here. So we still running. Let's go. Alright, it has been 1 hour, so I'm going to go ahead and flip my baby backs. And I'm going to go ahead and take these onions out. So I flip the baby backs, take these onions out. I'm going to cut my heat down. Probably run right around 275. And I'm going to let these ribs go for probably about another hour, 45 minutes to an hour. But I'm getting ready to take these onions out. Just checking on the ribs. Still looking good. Duroc ribs, you can see they're good and fatty. Hopefully you can see. There's a lot of smoke out here. But they're good and fatty. You can see the fat and the moisture kind of pooling up in the top. So I'm going to let them keep on rocking and rolling. I cut my heat down. Close off my dampers and cut my heat down. I'm probably running at about 250 right now. Alright, and after 1 hour, that's what we're looking at. You can see they've taken on a lot of color. So I'm going to go ahead and take these in. I'm going to let them cool for like 5 minutes and I'm going to slice them up. Alright, now that we have allowed our onions to cool for like 5 minutes, now all I'm going to do now is just take off the little piece of paper. You know, that's always on the onions. I'm going to take that off right there. We don't need that. And I'm just going to slice them. I'm going to do some thin slices, just like you would if you were just doing them the regular way. They are very hot. So you definitely want to let them cool a little bit. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm doing right there. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these. Let me do one more. Take that off. You take that first layer of paper off. There we go. And just make some nice slices. There we are. Oh, you definitely want to take the root off also. And that's it. So I'm going to cut the rest of these up and I will be right back. Alright, now it's time to caramelize some onions. Okay, so what I have here is a small pan over some medium heat. Gonna add a little olive oil in there. Now if you notice, I've made, in my onions, I cut some of them like a julienne cut. And then some of them I cut a little thicker. Like that. But anyway, in with the onions we go. Alright. They smell real good. Nice char flavor to them. Okay. So we're going to let our onions sit here and break down. Now the caramelization process takes a long time. We all know that. So it's probably going to take about 30 to 40 minutes for it to break down and do what we need to do. But once it starts to do that, then we're going to add some honey, some red wine vinegar, and a little bit of pomegranate molasses, and of course, some coconut sugar. Matter of fact, we're going to add a little coconut sugar right now. That'll help get out all the moisture. Because it basically right now what we're trying to do is just get the moisture out. So y'all stay tuned, we'll be right back. Alright, our onions have really started to caramelize a lot. You can see the moisture level has reduced tremendously. So, and you can see the size of them has reduced tremendously. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go in with, I'm going to start with some pomegranate molasses. This stuff is strong. You only need a little bit. That may be like a teaspoon. I'm also go in, let me mix that up first. Get that in there. I'm also go in with some red wine vinegar. You can use balsamic vinegar. And that may be a little less than a half a cup. And I'm also gonna go in with some just regular raw clover honey. Alright. And now we're gonna work that in there real smooth. We're gonna let this reduce down. And as it starts to reduce down, these onions will start to caramelize even more. So, hang on in there with me. Alright, after adding all that, I also added some more of the coconut sugar. And like I said, I'm just going to let this cook down. This is like on a low heat. I'm just going to let it continue to break down. and caramelize these onions. And just like that, folks, our caramelized onions are ready. Let me back up a little bit. Are ready to go. Let's get back to the ribs. Yes, sir. Look at that. Yes, sir. All right, I have let these ribs cook 1 hour on the bone side, 1 hour on the flesh side for 2 hours, and now I'm just letting them go through the process of just sitting in the pit and just relaxing for about 30 minutes. Feel like it's almost there though. If you can dig in there pretty good, yeah, they ready to roll. So my heat is choked off. I'm just gonna let these ride on out, y'all. They look good. Yes, sir, ski. All right, guys, and just like that, our ribs are ready. No sauce needed. Although I do have Meat Stall's beef frosting right here, some really good stuff. I'll put a link to his page in the description. Some pickled jalapenos, sweet and sour, and them beautiful caramelized onions, man. Instead of pickled onions, try caramelized onions. And there we go, man. Beautiful baby backs. Look at that. Good and juicy, bro. So I'm gonna let these sit on the table and just rest out for probably about 5 minutes before I cut them. But yeah, y'all go check out Meat Frosting. Good stuff. Yeah, boy.